So, hello guys, how are you? So, I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start this video really quick. In case you are watching the video after the video was recorded, it's okay. You can leave the comments down below and we will answer them. So, today we're gonna be talking about the MEXT scholarship that you guys have been asking me. That is the MEXT scholarship for undergraduate. So, today we have another way of getting the scholarship that I didn't even know it existed. So, we have in here our guest. He's actually in Japan right now. He just finished his first semester. So, hello, how are you? Let us know. What is your name? Where are you from? And why are you studying in Japan right now?
Okay, so hi Veronica, hi everyone. So my name is Saiham. I am originally from Bangladesh. I am currently staying in Osaka. I'm studying at Itsumeikan University and the Australian National University, and I'm one of the MEXT undergraduate scholars of 2020. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so you actually like applied to the scholarship you were telling me like in 2019. So I know like I posted another video and some people were commenting like please I like try to make a video with someone that is recent in the scholarship. So he's pretty recent. He just finished his first semester. So you guys can ask anything you want in there. So we're gonna be talking today about the university recommendation, no? So let us know a little bit what are the guidelines to apply for this way of getting the undergraduate scholarship.
Okay, so first of all, I think there's a very big misconception that for the MEXT undergraduate scholarship, you only need to apply through the embassy, and this is partly correct. I mean, you can apply through the embassy if you want, but there's a second method which is called the university recommendation method, through which I got the MEXT basically. So for the university recommendation method, first of all, there are no separate MEXT guidelines or MEXT deadline, because I get a lot of questions like when is the deadline to apply for the MEXT through the university recommendation? The answer to this kind of questions are there are no separate deadlines for MEXT or even guidelines. The way is you have to apply to the university. And if the university is under the MEXT program and they find you like a suitable candidate, like a very good candidate for the university, they are going to offer you the MEXT for in the undergraduate with your offer letter. So that's how it goes. It's basically like a scholarship. When you apply to a university and the university says that you're a very good candidate, they offer you a scholarship. So in Japan, in the undergrad, it's rare. It's not easy to get. But if you are a very good candidate, the university often gives you the MEXT scholarship with your admission offer. So that's the overall general story of how someone goes about for the MEXT undergraduate scholarship.
And how do you find like which universities under MES or are not under MEX scholarship?
Okay, so there are two ways of finding it. First one is the obvious one. You can, if you just Google like the universities under the MEXT program, there are I think like 23 universities that are under the MEXT program. That is one way. You can just it's just one Google away. And apart from that, one other easy way to find out is that I think the top 20 or 30 universities of Japan, they are more or less in the MEXT program. So if you see a university and that is one of the top in Japan, top 20 or top 30, it's probably in Japan in the for the MEXT program in this. So yeah.
Yeah, so there is another question. Like usually people ask me, like, like there is like the national universities in this case, like
Yeah.
Tokyo University, something like that, and there is
Yeah.
also private universities. So how do you find like the private universities that are under MEX? Like
Okay.
they should
So
be also in the top, like because I know like Keio University, for example, is under MEX as well.
yeah.
So how do you find them?
Okay. So when if someone Googles right now about the universities that are under MEXT, they'll find the list of like those 23 universities, and some of them are public, some of them are private. So the point about public and private is that for the public universities, the number of spots for the MEXT undergraduate scholarship is more. Like for instance the University of Tokyo or Kyoto University, these have more spots for the undergraduate MEXT scholarship compared to the private ones, like for instance Ritsumeikan or even Keio and Wasaka and stuff. So that's basically it, I would say.
Okay, and I have another question. So you say like in order to apply to this way that is like university recommendation, you have to apply to the university.
Yeah.
So this means that the guidelines will be like depending of the university. In this case, I know like Tokyo University has entrance exams that are different from another universities. So do you have to apply directly to university? Can you apply to several universities at once or no?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So yeah, so firstly, there like as I said, there are no general MEXT guidelines if you apply to the university, and you have to follow the university guidelines. Now you can apply to different universities, like University of Tokyo and Kyoto and Ritsumeikan at the same time if you want. However, like each of these university have their own, what should I say, like own requirements, I would say. For instance, the University of Tokyo, they have like 2 or 3 recommendation letters, whereas Ritsumeikan requires only 1 recommendation letter. So they have like their own requirements, which is more or less the same, I would say, maybe slightly different, but they can apply to different universities at once. However, if they're admitted and if they do get the MEXT scholarship, one of the conditions of accepting the MEXT scholarship is that you have to like decline all the other offers and you have to just, you know, fully commit to this university. So yeah, they can apply to several universities if they want.
Okay, and I have another question. So you already applied for, you say that you're studying in Osaka. So what do you had to do to enter into that university? Can you give us a little bit of
Yeah.
insight?
So I think that this is the, I think the core question. Like if someone wants to apply for the MEXT through the university recommendation, they have to apply to the university and follow the university guidelines. Now for the undergraduate programs, more or less all the universities of Japan have a similar kind of requirement for their undergraduate program. So there are 6 or 7 things that are mandatory or very important if you want to apply to a university for the undergraduate program or to be even considered for the MEXT undergraduate scholarship. So the first thing that you require is the your high school results. So 9, 10, 11, and 12. What were your results? What were your report cards in your high school? That is very important, number one. The second thing you would need is your exam certificates. Like for instance, O levels, A levels, or any other, you know, high school exams that someone gives. It could be a SAT or the ACT, the IB exams, anything. So this is the second thing. The third thing a student needs is their English proficiency test, and unless they're from an native English speaking country. So for instance, I gave my IELTS. The fourth thing someone needs is the extracurricular activities, which is very, so, you know, the first 3 things, your results, your the exam certificates, and the English score. These 3 are more of like the academic things. Now, after these 3 things, the fourth thing that a student requires is the extracurricular activities, which is very important, and I'm going to talk about this more later. The fifth thing a student needs is their essay. They have to write some statement of purpose or essays. There are no essays or statement of purpose for the MEXT. It depends on the university. Each university have their own essay prompt or anything. And the sixth thing a student needs is letter of recommendation. Again, it depends on the university. So these are the 6 things a student would need to apply for almost any undergraduate program in Japan and to be even considered for the MEXT.
Okay, so you mentioned in there a little bit about the essays. I know, like, when you apply for the MEXT scholarship, you have to go, you get the scholarship, and then after you go and study 1 year. This is like the normal one that everyone knows about. That is the one that you go through the embassy. And then after 1 year, you go and apply for the university that you kind of chose. But in this way, you are applying directly to the university. So the essays, they have to be in English or Japanese, or there is no requirement of Japanese language in this case.
Okay, so first of all, one thing is that for the MEXT undergraduate scholarship in the university recommendation method, you are studying an English program for your bachelor's, not a Japanese program. So
that's really good.
Yeah. So first of all, you do not require any Japanese language ability before you apply to the program. That is the first thing. So subsequently, I think all the essays and letter of recommendation, everything is in English, and you do not need any Japanese for that.
Okay, so that's really good to know. So thank you for letting us know that. So tell us a little bit about the test in the university in specific. You are studying like an engineering area or no? And if you study an engineering or if you study like humanities that are totally different, do they have different tests or are the same?
Okay, so this is another very big misconception about the undergraduate studies in Japan. That is, for the undergraduate, you do not require any exams or any test or any entrance exams. So this is simply you apply to the university, and the university might conduct a Skype interview, and that's it. But there are no separate, like, you know, the EJU exam or coming to Japan and giving the entrance. You do not have any kind of entrance exams for the undergraduate degrees, unlike the embassy method where you have to sit for a test.
Okay, yeah, so that's something good to know, because I know like most of the people that want to apply for the MEXT scholarship, they are usually asking me about the test. But if you guys want to apply through the way that he applied, like he didn't have to do any test. That's the way I also entered university in Japan when I extended. I entered through the recommendation from my institute. So all they request me was like, you know, like the letter of recommendation from my previous university. And then I just entered in the university and they did as well an interview to me. So that's actually like really good. So now let's talk a little bit about the extracurriculars that you were talking. I know this is like a really key point, and people usually, like they just try to be good in school and they just focus on school and everything else doesn't matter because they want to get a scholarship. But I think, like people had this misconception about what is important and what is not important. I think extracurriculars are really important for
Yeah,
every country you want to go.
exactly. I think one thing about the Japan undergraduate application system is that they see each application holistically, which means it's not just your certain GPA or your extracurricular activities that matters. It's the entire application. They see who you are as a person. So I think extracurricular activities and essays and letter of recommendations, these three play a very big role because there are tons of applicants who have very high scores. And the only way you can differentiate from them is through these three things: your essays, letter of recommendations, and extracurricular activities. Because there's, for instance, IELTS, you can set a score like, okay, 7.5 is a good score. But for an essay, you cannot set a score. It's a limitless thing. You show your creativity, you show your passion. So if I have to speak about extracurricular activities, again, a question might come like, how many extracurricular activities do I need for the MEXT? First of all, you do not need any extracurricular for the MEXT. You require it for the university or the university's requirements. Firstly, the second thing is, okay, so how many extracurricular activities is good, or how many extracurricular activities should I show? Again, I think there's not a definite answer to this. But I would say, I think rather than showing a lot of extracurricular activities, it's better to show your passion even through a few extracurricular activities. For instance, if I talk about my thing, I was passionate about two or three things. So and that is what I showed. I did not show 15 things like, okay, I do singing, playing football, playing this, playing that. No, I just showed two or three which I'm passionate about, and that is what the admission officers want to see. They want to see your passion. They want to see you're not just showing them extracurricular activities because for the sake of the application. They want to see who you are as a person. So I think that is my number one tip for any applicants, is that when you are showing on extracurricular activities, think about the quality rather than the quantity. The quality is more important. Show your passion maybe through one, two, or three activities. Do not show 15 activities. So I think that is very, very important.
Yeah, and also like I know like many people, as you say, like they just put like several activities, and also like I'm gonna tell you too because that happened to me when I did the interview to actually did a part-time job, and they were also asking like I like to do a lot of things, but that's also can be a little bit tricky because they are gonna ask you why or how do you manage your time to do this in this, or why did you stop doing this. So yeah, like try to focus or try to at least like comment some of the things that you do more often. And like so many people say like I don't know, like I'm gonna study engineering, but what does music has to do with engineering? That's an extracurricular thing. You are in a team,
Yeah,
you are going to practice every day, like or every week to try to do like music stuff. That shows universities and that shows even a scholarship that you are actually like a really like good at like in focusing in teamwork, that you are focusing like in responsibilities, you are like good in like using your time, and that's something good. So many people say like I don't know, I don't have any extracurriculars to put. Well, think about it, like even the smallest things that you think like
yeah,
I just go and tutor, like teaching any language, and you think that's not good, like that's gonna be good for your application. And I say because I used to be that I say like I don't do any extracurriculars, but they help too. So let's talk about now the essay, since you say that that's also like really important. Why should a person be careful while writing this essay? What do I have to say? Like, okay, it's better not to put this, or it's better to put it.
okay. So I think for essays, firstly, it depends on the university and how many essays they have. Some universities like the University of Tokyo, they have like I think two essays. Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University have five essays. Tokyo International University have two essays. So it depends on the university and how many essays they have. For instance, in my case, I think I had two essays for my application, and I even sent an additional essay just to showcase and just to tell what I couldn't tell in those two essays. And so I think that is the first thing, that you can always use an additional essay if you want. Don't just make it long for the sake of making it long. But if you want to really say something, do use some universities do have like a space like additional information, optional additional information. If you want to say anything, do use that space very wisely. Even if university don't have that, you can always email them any of your essays or any information that you want to send them. I remember I sent some of my extracurricular activity certificates and an essay maybe via email. because through the portal there was like a limitation of how many I could send. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that about essays is that a lot of people often think that essays should be like, what should I say, like very difficult language, very hard, like this word, that word. And I often tell them, I think, some of the most beautiful essays are some of the most simplest one that you read once and you understand easily, that you can visualize. And for an essay, it is very important that you make the admission officer visualize so that she can like see what you are doing. So for instance, if I give a small example, like I remember I read a student's essay maybe last year or this year, and what the student was a good student. He had a lot of accomplishments. But when he wrote it in the essay about his accomplishments, it was more of like telling them, okay, I did this, I did that, this is what I did, this is what I did, and that. Essay is not about telling what you did. It's about more of showing what you did, how you did, what you learned, and everything. So this is a very important tip that I said, that do not tell, always show. So this is the third thing I can say about essays is that what I think the fact that in essays it's very important to be specific, because sometimes what I see is that students write very general statements. Okay, I went to the I climbed the Mount Everest last year. That's a very general
General.
statement. Be more specific. How did you climb it? With who was with you? How was the weather on that day? How many feet did you go up? So being very specific is important. A very common thing is like, okay, I tutor students in my free time. That's a general statement. But saying, since last year, I've been tutoring 13 students for physics, chemistry, and biology in my high school in the for the national Olympiad. This is a more specific statement. So in SS, students should be more specific and everything. And the last thing I think I would like to say about SS is that it's okay to show them that you have failed. And essay is a place where you show them how you have improved as a person. It's not always about I did this, I accomplished that. And essay can be a place where you can show your failures and how you've improved, how you've grown from that. So I think because a lot of students often tell me that brother, I think my high school result wasn't that good. In class 10, I had an accident and I couldn't do well. So should I just hide it, or should I, like, what should I do? And I often tell them, first of all, you cannot hide it because they will see your academic history anyway. So it's better to, tell them actually what happened and how you have, overcame from it. Because that is actually, I think, a very strong point. The universities want to see how a student deals with rejections, how a student deals with failures and stuff. So I think my last tip would be it's okay to fail, and it's absolutely fine to tell admission officer why you have failed and how, and more important, how you have overcome that situation. So I think these are some of the essay tips that I would give to any applicant applying to Japan.
Okay, and I have another question. So I know like many people that want to go to Japan. This is like some topic that I have like in many other videos as well. I know like many people that want to go to Japan, they don't have like a really, some people just say I want to go to Japan because I just want to, I don't know about anime, or I want to
Anime.
go to
Oh.
Japan because I like ramen, or I want to go to Japan because I don't know, I'm an otaku and I want to go and learn everything about Japan, Japanese culture. So I wanted to ask, like, what would you say, like, to the kind of people that they just want to go to a country, in this case, Japan? And we all know that Japan is not easy. You were even commenting to me, like, it's hard for you, even the language, because we don't know the language. We think that just go to Japan, you just travel, but it is like a big commitment to go. So what would you tell the people that they want to go to Japan, but they are not sure about actually going to Japan and living in there?
Okay, so I think regarding this, students need to understand one thing is that when they apply to a university, after the online application, they might have to sit for an interview. It could be an interview for the university's interview. It could be an interview where the university determines whether they'll select you for the MEXT or not. So, because I remember they emailed me that we want to recommend you for the MEXT scholarship, but we want to talk to you for an interview if you are free. So I was like, yeah, okay. So in these kind of interviews, they often ask you these type of questions like, oh, so why do you want to come to Japan, or what fascinates about? So, and my answer is that it's fine if you are interested about a culture, if you're interested about the Japanese culture, but this cannot be the sole reason why you want to entirely shift your country and study in the university. So I think, and I think this should be the last point. If you are telling telling a university about why you want to come to Japan, I think it's important to show them that you're passionate about the university, that you're passionate about the subject that you're studying, and more importantly, what contributions are you going to give them. See, I think when a university recommends you for the next, it's kind of like an investment. The university, because once a university recommends you for the MEXT, they already lose one spot, or which they could have given to another student, particularly another postgrad student, because MEXT is more common in postgrad. So since the university is recommend you in the undergrad, it's very important to show the university what you can bring to their community, what you can contribute. So I think for this kind of questions and saying I like Japanese culture or I like ramen and anime is fine, but this should not be the sole reason, and this should not be the most important reason while answering this question. So yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with him because I always tell people that they say like, I don't know why it's not like a really real reason. That's why I want to go to Japan. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that again because I was getting so many comments on Instagram for people that want to go and apply for the MEXT scholarship. In this case, like I know many of people, they don't know this way that we are talking today, that is going to Japan, applying through the university, not to the embassy, apply through the universities. And we know that universities accept people in different dates of the year. So you can apply from different dates of the year to actually go to Japan. You don't have to wait only until the MEXT scholarship in the embassies open, that we know that is already in May. But I know many people like doesn't have clear this idea, and it's really important to know that, because as he said, this way to entering into the country, in this case Japan, this way into studying is really competitive too, because it's hard. You have to do several other steps that you don't have to do with MEXT. With MEXT, you just have to study and pass the test and the interview, and you're done. Then you just have to wait until the country decide that you are going. But in this way, it's more difficult for you to actually go. And if you guys don't know, universities in Japan also, if you want to apply for Tokyo University, for example, is the highest rank of Japan, and we all know that the entrance exam and all of these entrance is really difficult. So if you want to go there, like make sure you have like a really good reason, because like they will want to know like if you are actually sure that you're going there, that you're not gonna return to your country after 1 month or going there, and that you all this life you saw this delicious ramen in the anime and you are like, oh, I want to eat the ramen in Japan, and then you went and you didn't like the ramen and you are like tired of Japan and you want to return. So make sure, please, if you want to apply for this, and I'm telling you, like, please, if you want to apply to Japan, make sure you really want to go for the right reasons. If you are applying for scholarship, it's because you are going to study. So make sure that the reason for you to go and study in Japan is because you are really like aware of everything else. You all know that in here in YouTube there are many videos of people. Even for me, I have many other videos about the culture, of the things that I like or the things that I don't like. Make sure you do your research before going to Japan, because going to another country and don't have a solid reason for going there just because you want to study in there may be really bad for mental health. I'm gonna tell you, many of us leave the country after many years because this reason. So make sure you have that pretty clear. So now let's talk about. You already told us about how to apply for the university. You already told us about the guidelines. We already talked a little bit about these essays, and we also talk about the extracurriculars. So tell us what happens after the university. Okay, you got selected from the university, and then you got recommended to MEXT, and MEXT accept you. Is there anything you have to do between the entering to the university and the university recommending you to MEXT, or there is nothing between that? Like they just tell you your scholarship.
Yeah, so I think after the initial online application, the university might ask you for an interview. It depends on the university whether they want to interview, whether it's for the admission procedure or for the MEXT. So it depends. So after the interview, the university first gives you either a green signal or a red signal that, yeah, I think after the interview, we have decided that we want to recommend you for the MEXT. However, that is not the final, what should I say? That is not the final result, because the university have decided that they will recommend you, and they send the names to the Japan government. From the Japan government, the final the final green signal comes maybe a month before your class starts. Maybe I think I got mine on July or August, around this time, and my classes started on September. So I think the more or less, if the university gives you a green signal that yeah, we are recommending you, 99% of the times you are going to get accepted for the MEXT. However, at the if I have to say by the rules, it really depends on the last moment when the government tells that yeah, we are agreeing to giving you the MEXT. But apart from these, I think there are no what should I say? There are nothing specific that you have to do. I'd say that it's much easier if you get the MEXT before, because if the university recommends you for the MEXT, you do not have to, what should I say, show any funds for the visa, or you don't really have to worry about anything. All these things becomes very easy. So I remember my friends, they were managing the funds to show in the bank for the visa and doing this and that. But since I was recommended for the MEXT through the university, I was just sitting there and waiting for the final green signal from the government, after which I just went to the embassy, and it was very easy. And once you get the MEXT, you are treated differently in the embassy or even in Japan, I think. So yeah, I think there are no certain things that you have to do after they recommend you.
Okay, and I have one question too. Like, I don't know if this happened to you or not, but I'm just wanna mention it because that happened to me. So when I went to university, so everyone that is in here, I'm pretty sure they know I didn't transition from specialized to undergraduate. So when I did that transition, I had to pay the first university, like tuition for the student tuition. I had to pay by myself, and that's usually really expensive. So I know, like after like some months, MEST give me back. But I know like people that went directly with undergraduate, they didn't have to pay that. So in your case that you went with the university and the university recommend you to MEX, did you have to pay any initial tuition, or do you have to bring any money to Japan for the first month? That is like usually what happens with the other kind of scholarship.
Okay, so regarding the cost, I think if the university recommends you for the MEXT, you do not have to pay any enrollment fee or admission fee or the tuition fee or anything. So the academic cost, there are no academic cost, and as you know, the MEXT scholarship also covers your plane fare. So there's also no plane fare that is involved. The only thing that I brought was that I think some money for the, maybe I think for the first month or two, because we it takes some time for we have to come to Japan, open a bank account, takes around 7 days, and then the money comes to our account. So the university told me that bring some funds for the first month or two, and after that, you'll get the next stipend. So yeah, so but I think apart from that, I also brought some extra money because I had to buy some, like, my phones and stuff. So that is everyone's personal choice. But apart from the living cost of the first month or two, an applicant doesn't have to bring that much of funds if they get recommended for the MEXT scholarship.
Okay, and now that we are talking about money, I know like many people are interested in going to Japan and study for free, and they are also worried that if the money is gonna be like enough or no. So
Yeah.
in your case, is you're gonna receive the same amount of money that any other like a test applicant through the embassy does? That is like usually what, like $1,200 or something like that, or
Okay,
how much
so
money that undergraduate people actually get per month?
yeah, so one thing is that once a student comes for the next undergraduate, whether it's through the embassy or through the university recommendation, after they get recommended or after they get the MEXT scholarship, everything is same. There is no difference in nowhere in my visa or anywhere it's written that I came through the university. So for all the undergraduate students, it's the same, and the amount of money that we get is, I think, 120,000 yen per month. That is the monthly stipend that we get, and all undergraduate students get the same amount.
Okay, so thank you for letting us know that. So I know, like, also I mentioned too, like, this is gonna differ too from Tokyo to Osaka. I know, like, in Osaka is, it's not so expensive as Tokyo. Like, so the money is gonna be more than enough. But I studied in Tokyo for 5 years, so I know that is like a big difference of money. So just to let you guys know too, you guys can work after, like, I think like it's 6 months of living in Japan, of being a student. You can apply to get them work permit, and in that way you can do like some part-time job, and you can go to Japan and work too if the money is not enough. So I just wanted to tell this in case you guys are worried about like the money is not going to be enough or not, because I know many people contact me about that, so I just wanted to mention that.
No, I
So
think 120,000 is, I think, more than enough if someone wants to stay in a normal way in Japan, whether he's in Tokyo or Osaka. I think it's very normal, unless the person parties a lot or goes to buys a lot of stuff. It is
or
more or
buy
less
food.
enough. or buy food. Yeah, it is more or less enough to live anywhere in Japan with 120,000 yen per month, considering you don't have to pay any tuition or anything.
Yeah, and also like let's talk about something else. Like I know people are also worried. Like in my case, when I went to Japan, of course they got me in the airport. This is all a question I get. Like so many people ask me, like when you get to Japan, is someone is gonna be there to get you? At least for me, there was someone waiting for me because we are scholarship students, so they are gonna have someone in there like waiting for you to bring you to the dormitory or whatever you're gonna be staying. So let's talk about dormitories because people are also worried about that. Do they have to go and find the dormitory right away, or they already choose for you at least for the first year or the first 6 months you're gonna stay somewhere?
Okay, so I think regarding the MEXT scholarship and the dormitory situation, I think firstly I'd like to speak about the airport thing. For the undergraduate students as well, there's a person at the airport receiving you, since you are a government scholar, and I think that is some of the perks of getting this government scholarship. I always tell it to people. I think getting the MEXT scholarship is not just about the money. I think it is fantastic that all your money is waived, but I think the what should I say, the respect that you get from the people, from the Japanese embassy, from the people, someone waiting. I remember my plane was late, I think for 7 hours probably, and I thought, okay, I'm sure that that person is not waiting for me. I was pretty sure because due to the COVID and everything, my plane was very late. And after 7 hours, I came out of the airport and I still saw that person, holding a sign like MEXT. And, then I came to him and I first apologized for the delay and everything. And even in the embassy, when for the visa procedure and everything, it's very, you get a lot of respect. You're not treated like the other students. So MEXT is not just about the money, it's also about the respect that you get. And especially in undergraduate, that's a lot. And regarding dormitory, if I say, see, dormitory is not related to the MEXT. If someone gets the MEXT, it's a person's wish whether they want to stay in the dormitory, whether they want to live outside or anything. So dormitory is no way related to the MEXT. And if the person, like, I chose to stay in the dormitory. So after I came to Japan, after they greeted me, the MEXT people greeted me there. I came to my university. I just I went to my university help desk, asked them where the dorm is. I came to my dorm. It's normal. So dormitory is not related, or even the living is not related to the MEXT anyhow. So yeah.
Okay, so we have a question in here that say, what happens if we become a MEXT scholar? Do we need to still take the entrance exam to the school we want, or the MEXT will be the one that recommend us to the school? So this is like, I think,
Okay.
so this is what will happen if you apply through the embassy.
Embassy.
And
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
embassy, I know, like I already gonna post some videos next week and the next week talking about going to MEX. That is through the embassy recommendation that you go to the embassy, you do the test, you do all the application process, you wait for a long time, and then after you go and get the scholarship. In that way, yes, you have to go the first year. You have the options of your school, and I'm pretty sure you have to do like an entrance exam. In my case, I had to do an entrance exam, but I know like I went with the specialized. So with the specialized, it was more like a like formal thing. But I know like for undergraduate, you have to do the entrance exam. But in this case, for today, we are talking about directly going into the university and directly applying to the university. And after the university, they will tell you, okay, we will recommend you to MEX. So this is like you go directly to the university that you want to apply. So you don't have to worry about the embassy. You don't have to worry about that until the last step.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened, no? So
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your
Yeah,
question.
I think this question is applicable for the embassy method. For the university recommendation method, this thing is not applicable. There are no entrance exams or anything. And speaking about that, I think a very common question that a lot of that I get a lot of times is that, so Saiham, you got the MEX through the university recommendation method. Which one do you think is easier to get, through the university or through the embassy? So because in the embassy you have to give a seat for exams and everything. And my answer to that, I think, is that there's no definite answer to this, first of all, because like for someone like me, I like more of like talking and showing my personality and essays and interviews and stuff. This is more of my skills rather than sitting and giving an exam. But then again, sometimes it could be difficult for a person to show who they are through these essays and interviews and stuff. For them, a test might be easier. So it really depends what kind of person you are and which method is easier. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, also like I want to mention like I didn't apply for that, but if I were me, like I will also think about, like if you apply through the like university in this case, as he said, you are good at not taking tests, but instead of going to interviewing all of these essays and everything, like, but you have the chance to actually apply for the university that you really want, and
Yeah.
you have the chance to know that you are just applying to university, and the university is the only one
Yeah.
that is, if you enter or you don't enter. If you apply through the embassy, that is the one that everyone knows about. When you apply to the embassy, you have to compete with many other people at first to get selected in the country. So that's other like big thing, that if you're not really good, like, I don't know, physics, but you want to study like engineering and you have to apply for the physics test, that's gonna be like some downfall too as well. So this is something really good. I didn't know about this way of entering into the MEXT scholarship, so that's why I wanted to do this live stream today, because it's another option that you will have in there. You don't have to compete with all the people in your country. You don't have to wait for that people to be worse than you in the test, or for that people to don't pass the interview or something like that, because we all know the undergraduate is really competitive scholarship. That's the most competitive, I think, from the MEXT scholarship. So when you apply through the embassy, you have to compete with many other people, and then you have to wait to see if Japan is actually gonna send you or not. I know many people that pass the test, that pass the interview, and then after they get recommended to Japan, but Japan doesn't accept them. So you have
Yeah.
these other things to worry about when you apply, as he applied, that is directly into the university. You just have to prepare for whatever the university is asking for. If the university is asking you for an interview or for essay, you just have to focus on that. You don't have to focus in other people. You don't have to focus in other tests that you are not good at. You just have to focus on that university. And I think this is also a good way if you really want to go and study in a university in Japan. So this is something for you to consider. Like there is all these other factors that are around you while applying for the scholarship. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to include into this question.
Yeah.
So I feel like we pretty much sorry, I was like, we pretty much cover most of the scholarship, in this case how you apply. So I wanted to say, like, thank you so much for actually being in the interview. I know like it's becoming like a really long live stream, so I just have one last question. How is living in Japan? First of all, how is, like, I know you have been like 6 months in there. Was it anything like you expected or not? And the last question will be like, if you have to tell someone like a tip to apply for the scholarship, what will it be? Like the last tip that you will
Okay.
say.
So if I speak about the first question, so Japan is amazing. I think it's a country itself, I would say. I mean, this country is very different from the rest of the world. And we read about Japan and we see them on TVs and stuff. But once you really experience this, the people, the kindness, the culture, it's on a different level. I remember my first day in Japan. The first day I came to my university, and I was pretty lost. I mean, I got done from the station, and I had like 3 bags and a guitar on my back. So and I was and I remember my university told me that it's like 10-minute walking distance from the station, so you don't have to take any bus or trains or anything, Saiham. So I was walking and I was kind of lost, like I could not find the university. And I remember, and I could not, and I don't speak any Japanese. And so a random girl was walking by me, and I asked her that Ritsumikan Daigaku. I mean, that is the only Japanese I know, that Ritsumikan University. And although we don't speak the same language, the girl understood that I was kind of lost, and she walked with me, I think, for 10 or 15 minutes just to take me to the university. And that was very, what should I say, astonishing for me, that a person whom you don't know, whose language you don't speak, but you still walk with him for 15 minutes just to take him to university. I think it's just surreal over in Japan. So and one must experience it to get a true feel of what Japan is, and that's a good thing. And obviously the bad thing is a language barrier. I think there is a bit, not a bit, there is a lot of language barrier, and one should be prepared about this language issue before they come to Japan. So that's more or less my experience. And for the final tip, I think for anyone who's applying to Japan for the undergraduate, for the MEXT program, I think my most important tip is to actually apply. And because why I say this is because a lot of students often fear that it's very competitive. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get it. Should I apply, Saiham? What do you think? And I always say, there's no harm in trying, because I remember I wasn't sure that whether I would get the next, or even I would get accepted to the university. And I think every student do have some like, what should I say, so they're good in something. And I think the only thing they should focus is just to apply, and to just to bring the best thing about them through the application. So my most important tip is just to apply to the university. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so thank you. I just want to wrap up everything a little bit and just say, like, like once again, different way of applying is not through the embassy. This is through the university. So thank you so much. If you guys are watching the live stream, I know it's a really long live stream. I think like he give us like a really good insight of how to apply for this way. And I also wanted to say, like, if all of you, as he say, apply, like I didn't think I was gonna get the scholarship. I applied for the scholarship twice. I applied through embassy and I applied for the specialized training. So I remember the first year that I applied, I was literally lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know how to actually fill out the application form. I didn't know how the test was gonna do. And I applied like in 2012 at first. That's when I didn't pass. And then I was like really lost. So you can apply it several times. That's also other misunderstanding people have, that you only have one chance, and if you don't apply, you're not gonna get it. No, you can apply several times until the time limit for your age is all done. So we all know that I think undergraduate was last year until like 24 years if you apply through the embassy. So you can apply. If you're 18, you have like several years to apply. So that's something like people don't understand. You have more other options. So when I applied the second time, of course, this time I didn't study as well for the test, but I was more aware of how long was going to be the test, how was going to be the day, because it's not one test one day, other test one other day. It's mostly one whole day for doing the test, and you have time, and you cannot use calculator if you want to apply through the embassy. So as he said, just apply. I noticed also, I just want to mention that many people that also contacted me in Instagram, YouTube, I don't know, Twitter, Facebook, even the email, I get so many people asking questions. I just want to let you know all, there is a lot of information. I have given like many insights, not only for the MEXT undergraduate, also for the specialized, also for the research. And I noticed that many people that want to apply, they are not watching the whole video. And mostly, I'm telling you, because most people, they just contact me and they are saying like, hey, Veronica, how old should I be to apply for the specialized? And I'm like, I literally say that in the first video. So I noticed that many people that want to apply, they are not doing the research they should, not only for watching my like videos, but also there are many videos nowadays. Like when I applied, there were not so many videos. This YouTube thing wasn't so big. But now you guys have a lot of information. You guys have Google. Google has literally everything. As he said, you can get your universities list from there. Just apply universities MEXT. So do your research before you apply, because that's the chance you have. Applications for universities are not going to happen next month. Many universities change. I know that many universities that also you can apply in October or something like that, that is like after a fall, or if you want to go in spring semester, you can apply in these different dates. So try to do the research. And I know, like, if you don't do your research and just start contacting people, can you help me? Can you help me? In the end, you're not going to understand what you're doing. So I just wanted to let you know that if you really want to apply for any scholarship, please make sure you watch all the videos, you ask all the questions that are not related to the video. So in that way, I can help you guys, and other people can also help you to actually get the scholarship and help you to do it. Because I noticed, like, when people usually ask me, hey, but is Japanese a requirement? And I already mentioned that in the video. It's also like, you are not even like reading the guidelines, you're not reading the documents, you're not doing anything. So it's kind of difficult also for me to actually want to answer these questions, because it's already there. So just make sure you read, make sure you do your research. And yeah, so that's basically for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much if you are watching this video later on, you have any other question related with this scholarship in specific, with this way on getting the undergraduate that is through university, please let us know in the comments in there. Just comment, how was this live stream? This is the first live stream that I do with someone else, and in this case, we were talking about this. So thank you so much for being in here, and thank you so much for giving us some insights. I hope that all these years in Japan, you still have so many more semesters in Japan. So I wish you the best of luck, and I also wish you a lot of luck with the language and all the culture in general. So thank you for being today, and thank you guys for being in here. So yeah. see you guys in the next video. It's gonna be next week, so I'm gonna publish more about undergraduate. So see you guys in the next week. Bye bye.